Get your Yankee ass off my property. Don't care if the bank gave you a deed. This farm's been Kyler land for generations, since we beat back them sneaky Japanese. In the war of 1812, bring our boys home.
Now, if I haven't been to the water, I start off with stabilizer. This is just Stabil storage fuel stabilizer, where it sits over the winter. If you're going to be on the water like one last day, treat your gas that way it can get into your carburetor and it can get mixed up good, and it helps to keep that gas from what they call shellacking and almost turn into like syrupy and stick in your carburetor and gumming everything up, and then your gas goes bad and it smells like, whew, it smells horrible, and you have to pump your tanks out and start all over, and that sucks. Plus do a carburetor rebuild possibly. So I use Stabil fuel stabilizer for storage. It's an older jug. It's been laying around in the shop. It's still good. It's still fine. It's never been opened. I had about 60 gallons of fuel in this boat. 1 ounce treats 2 gallons. So I put 30 ounces in here for 60 gallons of fuel. That's how I start off with my winterization process. There's a couple ways you can do this. In all the years of owning an inboard, I've always drained the block, drained the risers, drained the power steering cooler, let her ride. This boat here, I've always done it this way. Now, there's a couple of things you can do. You can pump this antifreeze in your boats, and supposedly you're good to go. You ain't got to drain nothing. You'll be good next year. You just fire it up. It's biodegradable. It won't make animals sick or hurt the fish or wildlife, is what they say. I don't know if it will or not. But what I do is, I still don't trust it. So what I do is, it takes 5 gallons to fill one of these jugs up. You can get these jugs on Amazon. I don't have an Amazon store anymore because I didn't have enough traffic flow, so I've got to reapply. But you can get these on Amazon. It's just a boat winterization jug. That's a lot to say for a guy like me, but a boat winterization jug or something like that. Type in winterize your boat jug and it'll pull it up. But it's just a 5-gallon jug with a fitting. Now the fittings for these are usually plastic, and this one had gotten broke, so it's been fixed a different way, but it's the same setup as what you'll get online. No, anytime you buy oil, antifreeze, anything like that, go to Walmart, because they're always cheaper for the same thing. Mobil 1, Pennzoil, Prestone antifreeze. You're looking at, especially Rotella with big trucks like what I run. I've got a semi truck, and Rotella's what, $8, $6-8 a gallon cheaper, because you got to buy it by the gallon for the big trucks. So always get your oil and your filters from Walmart. This ain't a paid promotion for Walmart. I'm just saying to help you out. Your local parts stores will run sales sometimes, but even when they run the sale, a lot of the time Walmart's still as cheap or cheaper than the sale is. So keep that in mind. This SuperTech from Walmart. I like SuperTech fluids. I use SuperTech gear oil in my outdrives. Now, that's about the only other SuperTech thing I use. I do use SuperTech marine grease on my wheel bearings, for my boats. But, SuperTech's a pretty good product. I've always got good service out of it. So if anybody out there from SuperTech wants to sponsor me, go right ahead. I'll be glad to get paid for this advertisement. So, without further ado, as bad as I hate to, we're going to fire this motor up. We're going to winterize this boat. Step 1 is fill your jug up. All right, you got your jug full. I got the water hose hooked up. Your water will come from your house or your well or whatever you've got. It'll run up here to tie in on one side of your jug, and you'll have a quick release for off and on. And you'll have a nozzle on top, a quick release on top to turn off and on for your jug water. So the way it's set up is, and I'll give you a better shot of it when I'm done, but you'll open the top valve up, and then you'll open the side valve up, get your motor running off fresh water, off clean water from your house. Get the motor running, get it up to operating temp, get that thermostat open. You want that motor running and warm and just like you was on the lake. And if you can get a warm day like today, we got a beautiful November day, and I wanted to go fishing so bad, but I've run around working on everybody else's boats today, and I haven't worked on mine. So I'm not gonna get to go fishing until maybe tomorrow. I've got some trucking business, you know, for my big truck I got to take care of in the morning. Maybe go fishing tomorrow, but you want to crack this valve wide open, get that water flowing to your engine, crank your engine up. Get that engine up to operating temperature. Once you hit operating temperature, get down here and feel. And you'll feel that exhaust water coming out. It ain't going to burn you, because if you got a 160, 170 degree thermostat, that's not going to burn you. It's going to be hot, you know, and it's going to be uncomfortable possibly, but it's not going to burn you. Get that water warm. You want to make sure it's warm. As soon as it gets up to operating temperature, you'll cut this valve off and you'll turn that jug on, and you'll let it start pulling this antifreeze through the system. Now, once we get this jug empty, we'll shut the motor down. We'll shut our water off, and then what I do, because I don't trust this stuff. I mean, yeah, it's probably great. It may be better than what's in my vehicles. I still drain my block, especially after y'all have watched me build a motor this year. I am not going through that again. I mean, I don't mind to, but not with this boat. This boat's had its one motor. It ain't getting another one. If it happens again, that motor's getting pulled out, and I'm going to cap this back off, and I'm going to hang two jack plates on the back, and I'm going to put two outboards on it. 300 horse, 400 horse, something like that. And I'm not going through another inboard. I'll just fiberglass all this up, and I've seen a lot of guys do it. It looks pretty good. So we'll get this motor running and get this show on the road. So it's a little loud, but it's running. It's a little sluggish when we start, but I hadn't run this motor. He's purring like a kitten now. Listen to that thing. Southern Bowie Outdoors motor right there. As this boat gets warm, it's a long way from being warm. Just not gonna touch that water. Temperature, we'll touch the water. It's running about 165 on the gauge, which is about right for this boat. Thermostat's open. Lay this tank over, cut the water off, open the valve up, get up here quick, try to watch. It runs down and shut the engine off. But I want to make sure I'm getting some pink before I run up here. Smell that stuff coming through your water, so you know you're getting it. Plus you can see it dropping and running out. Getting a little bit foamy. That's another way you can tell. You can see kind of a pink discoloration. Let's get ready to shut it off. When I get ready to kill this thing, we're in a half tank. Good enough right there. So I just shut the tank off. Everything's good. Now I'm going to disconnect this for now so that I can leave my water on, because I've got to wash this boat back down where it's gotten muddy here in the yard. I put a ladder beside the boat, that way I can run up the ladder, keep an eye on my operating temperature, come back down here and make sure I'm still getting good water flow. Because on these Bravo 2s, the earmuffs I have is for an Alpha 1. They fit Alpha 1s and Mercuries and standard outboard, stuff like that. So you have to hook them on the end and use a bungee cord. But I'll show you a trick to that. So if you're new to boating and you're trying to figure out why these things won't fit, what I need to do, it's simple. It's an easy fix for that, and I'll show you how to fix it. And this is just a standard earmuff that's on here. I use it on my bass boat. I use it on everything. But it won't slide back from this side because it's too big. This is too long. It's too wide. So if you'll see, I just put it on from the front and use your bungee cord and wrap it around it and just hook it right here on the back side. That way it don't pop off. You don't overheat your engine and ruin your day. Now what I like to do whenever I'm winterizing these boats is I'll run my hose up through this eyelet right here on the back. That way when it comes up, you can pull the slack you need and tie it into your jug so that you don't have it pulling down on your jug and making it leak and act stupid. But the boat is winterized for the most part as far as the engine. Now we need to go inside, and what I like to do is, even though it's got antifreeze in it, and technically you can back it in the water, drop you out drive and go, or put it on earmuffs, rinse your engine and your out drive and everything out, and then go, I still like to drain mine. That's just me, and I would especially recommend this if you live up further north. So now I can't stress this enough. This is how I do things. It's not necessarily the right way to do it. It's how I do it. So if you follow my steps, you should be okay. But if you're not, don't call me saying, hey bro, you owe me a motor. So because it ain't gonna, I'm sorry, but you take my advice at your own risk. All right, I apologize for the crudity of my filming, but I'm using a little short selfie tripod thing where I can hold it and show you what I'm doing. The next step that I like to do is I drain everything. Risers, block, water pump, power steering cooler rather. I drain it. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. But I gotta get some stuff out of the way. Start with your water pump. Your water pump is right here on the front. It's this center pulley in the top, big pulley, that's your water pump. You wanna pull this bottom line right here. I hope you can see it, because I'm having to guess at where the camera is, but you wanna pull that line. And you definitely want to see that pink antifreeze blow out of there. And oh yeah, she's pink. She was good and warm. Good and warm. Okay, the next step is, while you're over here, let's drain your riser and your block. Now on this boat, I have drain plugs. On older models and some other models, you have to pull the lines. You'll have a drain in your block, but you'll have to pull the line off the bottom of your riser. I don't have to. You'll see the line in this video, but you'll also see a blue drain plug. There's a blue drain plug right here on the side. That's for your riser. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. It's gonna be a little warm, so get ready. Just pull that blue drain plug. Now, if you don't have a drain plug, pull this black, there's a black line on the bottom of this riser, a black hose. Take the hose clamp loose and pull it down and let that riser drain. You want to keep all these together. Now, I do this so much, this plug is right here on the bottom of this riser. It's a blue plug. Take it out, let it drain. I don't have to look, but I'm looking to try to help y'all. The other one is on the bottom of your knock sensor. That right there is a knock sensor for your engine. The other one's going to be on the bottom of it. If I can get to it. There she is. Come on, baby. Whew, now that one was really hot. And that water has a pink tint, so we know plenty of pink has got over here in this side. If you look towards the bottom into the white part of the hull, you can really tell it's starting to pink up as it comes out. You got to get that plug out of that block on this side and your riser, or you will crack this block and you'll be doing what I did last summer. So there's two plugs. I'm dropping them right here in my gunnel. That way I can find them when I'm done, because I'm old and I forget where I put stuff. What I also like to do is I'll take and pull this top, just to be sure there's nothing in this hose. And if there is, that hose ain't gonna bust, but it's just me. just how I am. Now take your clamps and slide them back further than where you need them and tighten them back up. That way they're there in the spring when you're ready to put all this back together. Like this clamp. I've already snugged it back up a little so it won't fall off. I might turn it a little bit more. Makes life a lot easier. Okay, so this is my line I just pulled off the water pump. I'm just gonna set it down in here and let it lay there. It's not gonna hurt a thing. Oh, now we get to go with the other side. The other side's a little bit trickier, but not too bad. Now this side ain't as bad as putting a motor in, but it's bad enough. On the bottom of this riser, where my hand is, there's gonna be another blue plug right in this area. There's also a rubber line. You want to either pull that rubber line or pull that blue plug. That water's just pink as it can be coming out of that riser. Now under it, there'll be another blue plug. That's for your block. And man, it's hot. Whew. Hopefully, there's a riser draining. There's the block draining. Hopefully you can see that. Ow, my hand is burned a little bit too. That motor is warmer than I thought. So now that that's done, we got one more plug left. There's 5 plugs on these boats to drain them. The last one is in the very bottom, and it's your power steering cooler. Whew. And it's a pain to get to. Sad part is I just put it back in too, and I ain't got to use my boat. But okay, I'm gonna show you with the camera if I can, and then I'm gonna reach under there and do it. Right in under this, you got a tube, a water tube, pickup tube that runs into a plastic or metal tube, depending on your boat. And the bottom of that plastic or metal is a blue plug right there sticking down. Oh, it sucks. I'm gonna get even lower. How low can you go? I can't go that low. Not there anyway. All right, now I can get it there. Maybe. Where are you? On the back side. And I don't know if I can get it there either. It's a job to get to. I forget how I go in here to do this. But it is easier not having it's a lot easier not having the water tank in. I don't know if you can see or not, but that water's pink. That's what we wanted. So you got 5 plugs to pull and your bottom hose on your water pump. Got a little moth. Don't land in there, you'll die. Now what a lot of people will do is they'll take these 5 plugs, they'll put them in a Ziploc bag, and they'll store them with their ignition keys, or they'll put them downstairs. Now you want to make sure all your rubber O-rings stayed on the plug and didn't stay in your block, and you'll keep them all together. What I do is I've got a couple cubby holes. Now I'm going to do some work on this thing this winter while it's down, and I plan on videoing. So I'll probably take these and just throw them in this front cubby right here on the back, and then I know where they'll be when I need them. I've got a cubby right here in the back. They ain't going nowhere. They'll be right there come springtime. Lord willing, somebody don't come here and mess with my boat. Now the engine itself is done, but we've still got to winterize the water system for your showers, you know, washing dishes, whatever. That's next. Okay, so now that I've got the engine and everything done, you want to make sure your waste tanks are empty, especially if you're storing over the winter. There's going to be a little bit left in it, but just simply take some of the antifreeze, dump some in your toilet, run it through the system, flush it back in there. It's going to be okay, because if there's any left in it where it's been pumped, it's not going to be much, and that tank will expand. Now to do your shower, your sink, and all your water system, sorry, there's a moth there. My ADHD was kicking in. I was like, ooh, a moth. Got to get him out so he don't get mashed. But to do your water system and everything, you want to take your water line. Where I'm standing is where my fresh water tank goes. It's actually right up here in the boat. So you want to take your water line that feeds your pump from your fresh water tank. Line you up about 3 gallons a jug. 3 gallons down here. Let's start this way. That way I can pull it over here to get the kink out of it. There. And shoot, come on, man. Come on, man. All right, so we got that in the bottom of the jug. Now we're gonna go up here. That's my fresh water. And it's pumping. And it's sucking it into the hot water heater. Out of that jug. Turn on our hot water. Until it starts getting pink, and it's already getting pink and foamy. So that's got it in our hot water system. Ooh, what happened in here? Oh, that's where I backwash these lines out. In your shower, you'll do the same thing. And I had a nest I'd forgotten that had gotten in my shower, in my drain, and I blew it out. Of course, all the dirt's blowed back in here. So I'm gonna rinse that out with the pink stuff. But you wanna do your hot water the same way. Obviously, there's still some fresh water in these lines. I'm glad I drained them. Glad I am draining them. It ain't gonna hurt to let that stuff run down into your shower. It's not gonna hurt a thing. So we're gonna pump it out too. Like mine's got a shower drain in the floor. I'm not worried about the pink staining anything because it won't. And if it does, you know what? It's not that big a deal. Swap our jugs. It's already popping. Now I'm going to take all this extra that I'm pumping out. I'm going to pump it into my toilet. That way I'm not just losing it. I'll run it back in that gallon back into my system. That filled, I'm just going to simply just hand pump that in the system. Make sure there's no fresh water coming up to the bottom from where it's drained in the past. I got all that out of there. Okay, and that is done. Is it draining? No. Something's up with this thing. It's not wanting to drain right. I cleaned it all back up where I'd cleaned out that dirt dauber nest and it blew back in here from the outside. But I turned on the cold water side, got it flowing just like I did the hot water side, because on these boats you got to fill that hot water tank up first. Once it gets full, then it'll pull it from the cold side on my boat. I don't know how yours is, but that's how mine works. So this is all good. Both sides have pink running out of it. So this is done in here. I've cleaned it all back up. I'm going to shut the door tonight, but in the next day or two before I cover the boat up, I'm going to open this whole boat up all the way back. That's my door and all. I'm going to open everything up to where it's got plenty of ventilation and everything can kind of air out this winter. Of course, we've got the window open now, and I've just got stuff stored, around. I put the table back in, took the bed out, and I've got the back bed just pulled up where I can get a little ventilation, because I'm going to get in here and do some work this winter. I'm going to put an air conditioning system in this boat to where I don't have my little portable to have to fool with anymore. And I got to get a new television. There's my antenna, but my television took a vacation and never came back. So, all right. So now all I got to do now is drain my transom shower, the hot and cold side on it, dump some antifreeze back in there, kick that bilge pump on, and she is ready to call 2021 in the books. Think about my fish sign. Ain't that cool? This used to be a mirror, and it looked awful. It looked like that shower mirror inside. It was all peely. So I just painted it real pretty and hung me a fish thing on there. Shoot, yeah. That's it right there. Another thing I like to do is I'll take a shot back inside this cubby where I've got a bilge pump. I'll vacuum all the excess water out of there just to be on the safe side, because any water in there standing, any water that's in there that's standing, if your bilge pump kicks on and it gets in your system, it will freeze and bust that bilge pump, and that one is a nightmare to get to. It is awful. I've replaced it twice, and I don't want to do it again. So, it's pretty dry in there. Now I'm going to take some pink antifreeze and dump in there and kick that bilge pump on and suck a little bit of it up through the system, and then I don't have to worry about it this winter. Okay, there's a drain right here. This is the outside of my boat. Sorry, my brain's not working like it should. But anyway, there's a step down coming into the downstairs of the boat, and there's a drain right there. And I hate the design of this boat. It drains into this pocket where I showed you where I cleaned all that water out. Well, if your batteries die or something, that thing can fill up with water, and it's going to let that water, as you can see from where this boat before me, it got over the lip of that, and it got this all nasty and drained into the hull of the boat. And I've Cloroxed it, and that's about as clean as I can get it. It looks a lot better in person than it does on this camera. This camera's making it look worse, but it still don't look great. So I'm going to take a gallon of pink, and what I've done is I ran back to my drain plug and everything that ran out of the hot water heater. I just caught it and put it in here. So we're going to pour this down in that hole and let it run down into the bottom. And I'll show you. Actually, I should be able to see it right in here. Yep, it pulled some through. Good deal. Just drain it out of the hot water heater. Pulling everything out of the hot water lines, and I'm going to leave that valve open until spring. Well, I didn't show it, but I done the transom shower the same way. Got everything flushed out and ready to go for next year. So I hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe, tell your mama and them about us, and please ring that bell. God bless you guys, and we'll see you on the next show.